Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. We are doing a detailed oracle reading surrounding what happened or what are the surrounding circumstances of what happened to Rachel Morin. Rachel Morin was, I believe, last heard or seen going to maybe take a hike or take a walk or jog at the Ma and Pa Trail in Bel Air, Maryland. And she didn't come back after several hours, and her boyfriend called the authorities to report her missing. Well, they did find her vehicle at the Ma and Pa trailhead, and then I believe the next day they found that she was deceased, and police have indicated that this does appear to be a homicide. So not much else has been revealed, and it's kind of ambiguous on whether or not the public needs to worry. I mean, you always should be vigilant. We know that, right? No matter where you are, you need to have situational awareness to make sure that you stay safe, right? So we know that, but sometimes in these early phases, we get clues about where the police is going with the investigation. I'm really like, what are they telling the public? So far, they're telling the public, just be safe out there. You can go into the park, right? You can go into this little trail area park, but buddy up. That's advice you give anybody. But I find it interesting that they're not like, be hyper vigilant. I just find it interesting that it's so soon after finding Rachel's body that they're letting people come back in to the area. And that's telling to me. So we'll see what Spirit has to say. This is just Kim talking. But I want to thank you all so much for joining. My new subscribers, welcome. And for my folks who have been with me since the beginning or near the beginning, I thank you as well. I thank all of you. All right, my friends, let's first say our condolences out to Rachel's family. I am so sorry. When I heard this beautiful mom of 5, first going missing and then thereafter, not even a day later, being found deceased, it's just heartbreaking. And this wasn't just her. There was like a few women this past few days, moms of 4 and 5 children each, being found. It's just really, I have a wish that this subsides. It's very awful. They have not named any suspects in Rachel's case. Police kind of indicated that they don't really have any persons of interest, but I don't always, I go by energy, and I don't necessarily feel that that's entirely the truth. But again, let's ask the cards here. Spirit, please share with us as you may and as you will what is going on with the situation with Rachel. What led up to her death. Oh, a card fell to the floor. We have Ma. Okay, so let me show you. We got water, and I'll zoom in just a moment. We got moth. There's a card that flew to the floor, so let me get that one. Okay, we got will. Sorry, I'm hitting the tripod. Steady now. And that's interesting to me. What else, Spirit, can you share with us about? Not that many. Well, out of practice, friends. It's been a while since I've been doing these readings. I had to take a break because I was doing client readings. And so, I'm a human being. And it's all said and done, and my energy wanes, and so I have to devote my energy to client readings when they're there and when they're in abundance. And then, I want to give my all to these readings as well that we do. So I have to make sure that I'm restoring my energy. So that's where I've been. If you've been wondering, you may not even notice that I've been gone for a little bit, but I'm back. I might not go, as my husband says, hard in the paint, but I am back for the foreseeable future, and I'm just going to pace myself, all right, as we all should do. Spirit, what else can you share with us about Rachel's... Oh, this card wanted to come out earlier. I saw it. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Okay. Crow. Wow, okay. One more, Spirit. Thank you. All right. All right. We're getting clear messages. I'm going to zoom in so you all can get a good look at what we got coming up here. All right. Let's get a good look. Zoom in. Sorry for any background noises. It's in the afternoon. I'm a little late recording this video. Okay, so water. This is a highly emotional situation. So when I see something like water, what this is telling me is that if there's emotions, generally speaking, emotions is speaking to feelings, and feelings is speaking to someone known, right? A history with someone. Not all the time. I won't say 9 out of 10. I mean, you could have the off chance of you having a highly emotional situation with a stranger. But typically speaking, the water card is speaking to an emotional situation amongst people that you know. I'm turning the light so it's not so bright. All right, so the water card is about purity, changes happening in one's life, subconscious thoughts, mysterious feelings. Keep that in mind, Spirit is saying. Okay, we got it. So that's what I'm picking up on here, is that this is an emotional situation. Somebody is trying to purify, detox, purge something out. Okay, so we take that. Mysterious feelings. All right, so off the bat, I'm getting some intuitive hits that whoever is responsible has known her or has a connection to her or has been watching her, whether up close in her life or from afar. But this is a highly emotional situation. As we kick off the reading with the water card. Am I zoomed in on that? Sorry, you all. I haven't been here in a while, so I'm getting my bearings. All right, so now let's go to the moth card, which always is, for me, is about transformation, signifying a change or crossing over. So whatever this emotional situation of someone watching her in this emotional situation, it caused a transition, caused transformation. Also, the key meaning, and it's a key meaning for me in general about the moth itself. The moth card represents being hopelessly attracted to something or a clingy person. Someone who is a clingy person, being hopelessly attracted to Rachel. Maybe it's Rachel hopelessly attracted to someone else. Could be. That could be how it shapes out. I don't know. But I'm getting a sense, highly emotional, highly emotionally volatile, something running deep, and someone very clingy to her, to Rachel. Okay? Sometimes this can come in the form of stalking energy. But we're going to see what the rest of the oracle cards say to that, you know? So that's where I'm sitting at here with that. I don't want to just jump into stalking. We just want to just observe, and that's what we're doing here. This also can represent, sitting next to the wheel card, the moth, this whole idea of transformation, changing feelings, changing emotions about a situation or a person. Okay, so the 29 and 30, let me show you both this. Not only is it sitting next to water, an emotional situation or a relationship, it's got 29 and 30. There's a progression here. Someone's going through a transition to move forward in their life, to make progress, to venture into one's own destiny, to travel or to come full circle, an ending, making way for a new beginning, okay? And actually taking the steps towards that new beginning. Okay. All right. So this could be Rachel embarking on a new endeavor, a new status in whether her relationship status or just in life. Maybe she was self-employed and wants to be employed, or vice versa. There's some sense of change. Maybe she moved residences. Maybe she broke off her relationship, is starting a new one. But she's in the midst of like changes that are kicking up and running deep. And with the water card. Okay, so I think what Spirit is telling me here is that, yeah, maybe it could be random, but I'm not getting a random sense. I'm getting a sense of someone in her inner circle. Okay, that's what I'm getting a sense of here. All right, so let's talk about the eye card. Let's talk about this eye card here. Now, this could be about bearing witness, or it could be about up close witness, someone who has firsthand knowledge of something, someone who needed and should have been vigilant about an emotional situation, but was not. Maybe this, again, I said earlier, it could indicate someone was really keeping a watchful eye over her, or it could be that somebody else is keeping a watchful eye over the perpetrator. But nevertheless, the eye is a big focal point, as well as the water card in this reading to me. Let me know what you think. So then we have other key meanings: being vigilant, being honest, someone becoming honest and bearing messages about maybe a transition happening, and being honest and saying, this isn't going to work. I need to move forward. I need to do something different. I'm going to do something different. And just her going to the trail, Ma and Pa trail, was part of being different, doing something different, getting change, trying to change up, trying to remove herself from a situation, but end up putting herself in a situation. Should have been vigilant. Not victim blaming here at all, but I'm getting a sense that it's feeling like someone, either herself or someone around her, needed to be vigilant, and maybe they close their eyes for a moment. And that happens. We blink, and we are allowed to blink. We are allowed to make mistakes. We are allowed to go against our intuition and still be able to be safe. That needs to be a thing. However, sometimes it's a perfect storm. That's what I'm picking up on here. Okay, so we got the eye card. Let me know what you think. This card is also associated with the omnipresent eye, the third eye, intuitive knowing. So it could be that's what I touched upon, in ignoring or needing to lean into the intuitive knowing, needing an extra set of eyes, whether it's your higher self eyeballs, or if it's eyeballs from a friend or a relative, someone who's got your back, or it's just colleagues, if you worked at an establishment and walking, you both walking each other to each other's cars, etc. Just throwing out different ideas. I can also represent a witness. There's actually a witness to what happened, or witness to events leading up, an emotional situation leading up to what happened. Okay? Oh, wow. Let's go to card 49, which is the Crow. This does represent omen of bad news, moving from place to place, criminal activity. Someone bearing witness to criminal activity. Someone receiving bad news about an emotional situation, about someone needing to move forward or has moved forward. Receiving as bad news, bearing witness. This is also someone outside of the situation bearing witness. Okay. Criminal activity. What is the criminal activity? Could be taking Rachel's life. It could be other criminal activity. All right. We have the Boot card. boot, which is interesting to me because the boot card is sitting next to the crow, which is, both of them are about movement. Okay. Traveling. Someone moving somebody. Maybe it turns out she's moved or placed where she was last. That could be one thing. This card boot is also associated with preparing for action. Again, there's a lot of I'm moving forward, I'm stepping forward, I'm stepping into my power. I'm getting ahead by my own mobility, my own abilities to make it happen. It's interesting to me. Discipline. Sometimes when I see the boot card, it's like someone feeling the need to discipline someone else. That's what I get a sense of here. Someone feeling the need that they need to put Rachel in her place with this boot card. Okay. All right. Someone feeling like she's getting too big for her britches. She's getting ready to expand. She's moving forward. She's expressed that with this crow card. Someone bearing witness to that expression. And now she's moving forward, moving ahead. And now we get to the day of what happened. And we see how that ties in. All right, friends, I'm going to pause here for a moment. And we're going to now move on to the next part of the detailed oracle reading. Be right back. All right, so now that we know what we're dealing with here with this water card, let's look at some Divine Shadow Self Oracle cards to see what we're dealing with in terms of what is lying in the shadows. We have Desperation. Someone be feeling and needing to do a desperate act. Temptation. Interesting. Okay, we're just going to pull a couple more cards. Couple more cards. Thank you, Spirit. Closed off. Anything else, Spirit? Grudge. All right. I think we're going to stop there. I think Spirit doesn't need me to keep going, and that one shuffle tells me that. So I'll stop. Let's talk about these cards. These cards say a lot. These 4 cards do say a lot. We have Desperation. Someone feeling desperate. Someone needing to do a desperate act because time was closing in, or this was an opportunity. I don't know if this is something that's routine for her, that she customarily goes to this particular trail, or if not, or she just, they somehow know and can track, but they knew that she was going to be doing this, and this was a time of desperation. Also, just the general sense that desperation, they felt they had to do this. It was just kind of scary when you think about it. They felt like they had no choice. Temptation, it was just too tempting. Her body, her physique, too tempting to resist. Or it could just be the temptation of this opportunity where she's going to be alone. And, on a trail, you may run into people here and there. But generally speaking, she went there, alone, allegedly. And she, Lord knows what could happen. Somebody really could lean into their temptations with this. I'm wondering about that. Now that I'm looking at these cards here, I'm wondering how much of this whole thing is staged. I'm just wondering about movement. There's a lot of information here about movement, her moving. We got the wheel card, the crow card, the boot. Somebody on the move. It could be metaphorically speaking, where she's on the move, like she's moving on with her life and leaving someone or something behind, or it could be someone moved her, or it could be both. Temptation. Someone desperate and leaning to their temptation. Closed off. Was she closed off to these advances? Was she closed off? Did she put up a wall? I wonder. And someone had a grudge. Again, now it could be just a grudge against women who look like her. It could be just a grudge, period, or it could be something deeper. I sense it runs deeper. That's just me. And deeper means a connection of some sort. Allegedly. my opinion, my intuitive hits here. Okay, so that's what Spirit is saying here about this situation. Okay, my friends, so now we're going to do this next part. We're looking for 1 to 3 cards, giving us insights on who this may be, or just the public really need to be concerned. What do you have to share with us, Spirit? Okay. We'll stop here for now. We may come back to this deck later, okay, in a future reading if we feel called to do a future reading. Sometimes I'm not called to do another one, so I'm just going to start calling these detail oracle readings. Sometimes they're the opening oracle reading because I'll do a subsequent detailed tarot reading, but sometimes I get all that I feel that we really need to get or privy to get in these first readings. So we got a closer observation of the victim's living space may provide clues. Living situation. Who is she living with? Who has she lived with in the past? Maybe there's clues in a journal or diary, or maybe there's clues, in some sort of record keeping that she has. Somebody's things there at her residence. Other people. Or maybe a piece of paperwork that she signed. Any of those things could be clues, right? A closer observation of the victim's living space may provide clues. A witness may not be fully disclosing all of the facts. A witness may not be fully disclosing all of the facts. And we have the I card here, which is telling to me that there is a witness testimony that's going to be very important in this case. Sometimes the smoking gun or the evidence is the social media, or the cell phone records, or the pings of where the cell phone is, or it could be the weapon itself usually, or it could be DNA evidence, who knows. But in this case, I do sense that there's going to be some witness testimony that's going to be what really helps the officers take it to a whole new direction. Okay. But for now, they're not really disclosing all that needs to be disclosed, either because they're willingly holding back, or they are unwittingly knowing that they have key information that could help, but that later on this comes out that their information actually is quite helpful. That's what I'm picking up on here as I'm tying all the cards together. And then we have social media will provide valuable clues. Okay, so somebody's social media, whether it's Rachel's herself, who was recently added as a friend, who, how has she been engaging? Has she been DMing somebody? Has somebody been DMing her? What about people closest to her? What were they saying about their relationship? What were they saying about her? What were they saying just in general? How were they behaving? There's clues in the social media. Okay? All right. I'm going to go pick my next deck. Be right back. All right. So we're going to now use my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle deck. That's what we're going to use. I'm going to break it up in sections, and we're going to just tap in. Spirit, what would you be willing to share with us about what happened to Rachel Morin? Timeline is of absolute importance. Of course, timelines in general with crimes and things of that nature is always important, but sometimes you'll never have the full picture because there's no other witnesses. There's nothing to corroborate someone's statement. So timeline is not the strongest point of a case. But in this case, timeline is actually going to be very important. And if you have questions about what happened to her and leading up to, it's going to be important to check social media records, her closer observation of the victim's living space, and just recognizing that maybe witnesses that the police have interviewed already is not telling the whole story, or maybe they haven't asked the right questions yet. Reshuffle. Spirit, what else can you share with us about Rachel Morin? Friends and associates. Okay. Let's just do this. I like to break it up and reshuffle. If you have this deck and you're wondering how to work with it, that's what I do. And you can make individual mini oracle decks pertaining to your specific type of reading. It's it's 160 cards. Bank records. So you will be able to make this deck what you need. Look at that. Water, poison, caregiver or helper. So again, Spirit is directing us. There may be a connection, an interpersonal connection to her. Could be, this card tried to come out earlier. So we need to look at that closer, extra close. Paperwork or paper trail. Okay. Oh my God. Remember how I was saying earlier, I was like, I don't want to just jump off the bat, but I know if it comes up in a reading with a 160 card deck, well, it's telling us something. Okay, it's telling us something. And this is also to say, we do need to keep an open mind on whether or not we want to just jump, the boyfriend did it. We want to be careful about that. We need to try to refrain from just instantly going there, because we could be going down a wrong track, and we don't want to needlessly do all that. So, but I do see what Spirit is telling me here, that there's a connection here with her. And I get, this is probably telling me why police haven't outright said, okay, public, we need you to refrain from going to this park until we have identified a suspect, because you all are in danger. They didn't really do that. And I think they're signaling and making the perpetrator feel like they are not being looked at all, that they think it's just some criminal out and about. And of course it could be, but I'm not 100% sure that that is the case. I'm going to see if there's any cards that come here with this, but if not, we'll move on, because I have quite a few cards to read here before we wrap up. And I'm going to pull from the Dark Mirror Oracle, I think. Okay. Sorry for the background noise. This sounds like someone is visiting. Hold on one second. Hold on. Messing at the dog. I have to tell my husband to be quiet. Just messing up my energy here. So we got unsolved. Doesn't necessarily mean this case is going to go unsolved, but it could, it may take something that cracks the case wide open, and it will remain unsolved until then. The police are not quick to just, name a person of interest. They understand that this is a delicate situation, and there's a power in not just declaring someone right away a person of interest in this particular case. A boat, body of water, some kind of information can be related to somebody who either owns a boat, has access to a boat being of significance, evidence being found on a boat, I don't know. But the other key word here is body of water. Body of water. We got the water card here. So we have the water card. Hold on one second, friends. I'll be right back. This is the downside to me recording. Normally I record at 2 in the morning, 1, 2 in the morning. It's quiet in town, it's quiet in the house, but sorry, it's loud and boisterous today. Lots going on, and it's in the middle of the afternoon. Next time I'll keep that in mind when I do the next reading. All right, so we have betrayal. Oh, and before I move on from body of water, this is a highly emotional situation. We got the water card here. We got the water card over there, right there. Water card everywhere. So it's speaking to this is a highly emotional, volatile situation, and that in order for that to be, typically there needs to be some sort of connection with the victim, between the victim and the perp, or the victim and someone who's close to the perp. You know what I'm saying? So there, you know, that's what I'm picking up on here. We've got betrayal. Someone who feels betrayed by her, or she was betrayed by someone. Betrayal. Big key phrase to me. Law enforcement, police intervention. These are the two key phrases, and I'm sensing with law enforcement is that, I mean, sometimes it can mean that somebody in law enforcement has something to do with it, but I think that what this is speaking to is Spirit is saying that law enforcement may already be aware of the betrayal and how emotionally deep her life was running. There was something going on. We're going to talk more about these cards in a moment, but since I pulled these, I want to talk about them first and then work my way back. Pickup truck. And this pickup truck, someone who owns a pickup truck, someone who drives a pickup truck. Maybe she drives one. Maybe there's evidence in a pickup truck. Maybe this is, again, speaking to evidence or her being moved. Could be someone literally who just drives a truck, you know, could be just literally that. And then December is of importance. December could represent when something of importance happened preceding this incident back in December 2022, for example, or past December. Someone's birthday who's involved, they could have a birthday in December. It could be something developing, a major development for this case in the month of December. December is of importance. Now, we're going to move backwards and talk about timeline, friends and associates, bank records. Timeline, like I mentioned before, timeline is going to be very, very important in this case, and it's going to be what perhaps once this case goes to being prosecuted upon, timeline is going to be really, really something that prosecution will lean into more so than what you would expect, and that's because of some sort of eyewitness information. Friends and associates. This is telling us that either friends and associates have clues about what happened or who may have done this, or may have seen something, or may have seen her being watched, or know of her being watched. They could have vital information. Also, this card can represent this being an inner circle job that happened to her. Hence the word betrayal. Bank records. So this is someone close, whether it's in business or in personal. Bank records. Bank records also can show, though, where she was at. Maybe she was at a restaurant the day before. Maybe she was out and about shopping, and there's surveillance camera footage on those locations. So bank records is not just to see transactions. It does help, though, to see how is she doing financially. How is the people around her closest to her doing financially? Some clues in the bank records. So this card comes with a lot of different tentacles of where it can go. Water, we talked a lot about water already, so I won't linger too much there, other than this is an emotionally volatile, runs deep situation. A poisonous, toxic situation with this poison card. Sometimes poison can mean that someone was literally trying to poison someone else, or it could just mean that their toxic energy was like poison to the people around them, or it was a toxic situation. But it can sometimes literally mean someone was being slowly poisoned and did not realize it. Okay? Caregiver, helper, could be that someone who helps her knows information, or it can mean that someone close to her allegedly could be involved, who would be someone who would be considered a caregiver for her or on her behalf, or a helper for her or on her behalf, or she's a caregiver or helper to that person. You know, so you could see how that card could go in those directions. This is what's interesting to me. We have health issues, natural causes. Now, police have already indicated that this is a homicide. So we can rule out, based on what they have said, that this is not, related to a homicide, or not related to a homicide, a natural death. This is homicide related. So we have health issues, natural causes. This could be her or someone close to her dealing with some health issues or health challenges. Maybe what motivated her to start to go out and really work out and go to the trails. It could be something where she was, maybe complaining about being sick, or someone alleges that she was sick later on, that she has health issues. Someone saying that, putting that out into the universe. So it's going to be interesting to see how this card shapes up. In terms of how this plays out. There's a heavy paperwork or paper trail surrounding this case, and I hope this does not mean that this will be a long time coming before it reaches trial. And I say that only because of this card, Unsolved. I do get a sense that overall I'm hoping that there's going to be an answer to this, that we will get the answers. We got the law enforcement card that seems to suggest that, but it just is concerning. It could also mean that there's a lot of paperwork evidence. I would imagine certain types of evidence, whether it's DNA evidence, whether it's bank records, whether it is social media records, that comes with a lot of digital paper. So there could be a lot that authorities need to sift through before they get to a point of naming someone, is what I'm sensing here. Then we have Stalker. This is the last oracle card we got from this section. Stalker. So this is like telling me that the Stalker card is saying that someone has, they have been watching her. They have been looking after her. They have been watching her moves. And that's why this card came up, Desperation and Temptation, to me, is that they seized upon a golden opportunity to go after her. That's why officers carefully chose the way they did. This does feel a bit targeted, but yet they can't quite scare off the perp to make them think that they've honed in on someone already. This does feel targeted to me. And we see that here with the Stalker card. She was sought out to do this. This was a desperate act of temptation, being closed off, knowing that they wouldn't necessarily be able to move forward anymore or move forward with her in general, holding a grudge and really feeling like they had no choice but to do this, which is really scary, okay? That's what I'm sensing here. So I'm not going to take it much further. Oh, I did want to do a dark mirror oracle reading. Spirit, is there anything else to share with it? Is there anything else? Alone in the world. So she may have been alone. Peaceful among thorns. Okay. I just get a sense like either she felt really alone leading up to this tragic event. I mean, she's a mom of 5, my God. She's a mom. I mean, she's only 37. It's just really awful to think about. But it can also speak, alone in the world, could speak to just also the perp, right? It could speak to one person who may be ultimately responsible. I'm not getting a strong sense that there's like multiple parties involved. I mean, I suppose friends and associates can indicate plural, but this kind of signals to me that this may be something about someone who's by themselves. This is also about parting ways, going in a different path, being alone in the world, and trying to contain and keep your peace among a very prickly situation, okay? With a peaceful among thorns. That's what I'm picking up on here. Oh my goodness. Sorry for all of the distractions today. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to say. I think that she was trying to find her peace in a situation. And in the end, she ended up being at the wrong place, at the wrong time. But this person, it could even look like that from outside, but really and truly this perpetrator was watching and had ensured almost that this would be a good time to do what they did to her. No cards really came up about cause of death, and that could be sometimes spirit sparing us. There's been no card, oh look, lovers. No card that has come out that's saying like what it could be. Someone trying to maybe allege that she was responsible for what happened to herself. Local, buried, evidence being buried, statements trying to be buried, evidence trying to be buried. I don't know if she was buried or not. So it's interesting to me that, aside from the poison card, there's nothing that speaks to me in this reading, at least, of blunt force trauma, God forbid, or some other way of hurting her, shot or stabbed, God, I hope, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. So nothing has come up with these cards. So sometimes spirit is just kind of like saying, you all just don't need to know that. What most is important is to understand that she was trapped. She was, trying to there is weapons. Spirit sometimes spares us all the gory details. At least when my readings, I'm not going here for just, trying to get all the gory details. We're trying to understand what is going on here. Dating. That's what I'm most concerned about. I'm not really concerned about what is going on here. In terms of all the logistics of how she lost her life. The card that fell was physical altercation. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll do a little side picture over second picture for these cards, but we got some interesting ones. Lovers and dating came up. I think, where is it? Yes. So again, that intimate connection, or someone longing to be intimate with her, wanting to be intimate, but maybe from afar. Maybe they are closer than we think with those two cards. Someone maybe even being this way, wanting to take their own life, or they are accusing her of being this way. That may come out later down the line. Local can be someone close, someone native, when we get the local card. Buried, someone burying the truth, or some evidence actually being buried. We know she's been found, so clearly she's not buried. So yeah, there's that. Someone feeling trapped, or someone trapped by the situation. Weapons could be mentioned or involved. Threat of weapons, threat of use of weapons. We talked about the dating card. And physical altercation. Physical altercation, thus causing her to have to be moved, etc. So we're going to stop here. I would just want to say, wow, this is devastating for her family, and I just send my love and heartfelt prayers up for peace as they deal with this difficult thing of losing Rachel in this way, and I am so sorry. We pray for answers to come, and we pray for justice to be found, right? However, Spirit best sees that justice takes shape. But we pray for it. And yeah, I thank you all so much for watching. Please, on your way out, do me a favor, hit the like button, as well as subscribe if you haven't already done so. Let me know of any cases and that you want me to consider exploring for the channel in the future. I'll definitely check them out. All right, friends, take very good care of yourselves. I will see you all around. Bye for now.